from Illinois, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I listened to my friend from Texas, I was reminded of a saying that the Panthers used to use, and that was, you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Between February and May 2020, Illinois lost almost 1.8 million jobs, with over 500,000 workers left jobless in the Chicago area alone. Our swift bipartisan response to pass the CARES Act prevented unthinkable hardship for millions of people in Illinois and tens of millions across the nation. No one should get away with criminal fraud, which is why I was proud to help provide the Biden administration and the inspectors general with dedicated fraud-fighting resources in the American Rescue Plan, resources that led to over 1,500 defendants being criminally charged and the recovery of billions of dollars. The actions of these criminals should not distract from the fact that pandemic unemployment insurance kept an estimated 5 million people a year from falling into poverty, meant revenue and customers for businesses that were still open, allowed workers at high-risk COVID to stay safer during a pandemic that disproportionately killed Black and brown people. My staff and I took thousands of calls from constituents who needed help. The Chicago economy relies a great deal on tourism, hospitality, and the arts, all of whose workers needed pandemic unemployment benefits to survive. I'm disappointed that we do not have the opportunity today to hear from workers who relied on UI during the pandemic. So let me just share a story from Bunny in Chicago, and here's what she said. We're a dual freelancer home in the theater TV industry with 2 children. We had to file unemployment for the first time in our lives. Our industry is shuttered for the foreseeable future with no end in sight, and with the huge unemployment rate, nobody has even called us for an interview, let alone a job offer. Without the extra boost, we'd be unable to cover the mortgage, pay our bills, our health insurance, which is all out of pocket, or keep our kids fed. I think we qualified for something paltry, like $500 a month in unemployment, which covers virtually nothing with the high cost of living in Chicago. I am deeply proud that the pandemic unemployment assistance provided relief during a crisis, and I reject this Republican concern for fraud when they remained silent when the Trump administration failed to implement GAO's anti-fraud recommendations and when they opposed the anti-fraud funding that this committee's Democrats secured. Mr. DiNardo, in the rescue plan, we put $2 billion in there to help states by giving grants to them. Could you mention what this program actually does and what it did?
The program's intended to help with combat fraud, also to look at ways to make sure there's equity in the program, to deliver customer service, more timely payments. We also found some disparities in the amount of payments that were going to different racial groups. We are, in our continuing ongoing work, going to be looking specifically at what the $2 billion was used for, and we'll be reporting to the committee.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on your long tenure. And, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Representative. In regards to the $2 billion that the gentleman from Illinois just mentioned about, I actually asked my Department of Labor in the state of Missouri to ask if it worked. And I'd like to submit for the record this letter that she presented. It says one of the lines in it says, more recent funding opportunities such as the Equity and Tiger Teams grants provided limited flexibility to address program integrity and ongoing fraud prevention strategies. Without objection, I'd like to put in the record. So ordered. I'd like to recognize the gentleman from